Toby, sent you a link. You want to go and have a look at it? See what I made for you?
Sure. What is this Lunar Lander game?
Alright, how are those controls working?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Think I'm gonna get it. Don't know.
Oh, you blew up.
Ah.
What do you think? Do you like it?
Love it!
You love it! That's good!
This is amazing!
This is my son playing a game that I just built for him. Now, he thinks he's having fun. He is. But what he doesn't know is he's also doing maths. I grew up loving arcade machines, and I would spend many an hour going to an arcade with my friends, putting our coins in those slots and playing the games until we either ran out of cash or we completed the game. I wanted to show my sons how games used to be, so I took them to a local arcade, and now my youngest has fallen in love with the game Lander. Now, if you're not familiar with Lander, Atari released it in 19 blah, and you can actually play it online here at moonlander.sev.ly, link in the description. And well, it looks basic to say the least, but this was, if you can believe it, state-of-the-art graphics at the time. But I decided to vibe code something like this, something that's updated the look and feel a little bit, but still involves these sort of maths elements so that he can practice his times tables and other maths challenges. It's fun, it's fast, and it's slightly chaotic, and secretly it's educational. Don't tell him! So here's how I built it, and I'm going to show you how you can build it too. So this is the original Lander. It was designed by Howard Delman and published by Atari in 1979, and it's a game I remember playing. This is the game that Toby has now fallen in love with, and we played it the other day at a local arcade. So what you get is this little ship at the top here. Hopefully you can see that. And then I sort of apply thrust. Now, where you can see those numbers flashing, that is sort of like the points multiplier I get for landing in that spot. So naturally, spots which are difficult to land in get you more points than spots which are relatively easy. So I'm going to try and 4x my score here, and it's surprisingly satisfying to get this just right, and I blew up. Okay, so you can see it's quite difficult. It's not as easy as it looks, but anyway, I'm going to try again, and this time I'm going to go for one of the easiest spots. But just while we're coming into land here, you can see that it kind of starts out and we're kind of panned out so we can see all of the terrain, and then as we get closer it zooms in like it just did. I'm just going to come down here on this flat bit. There we go, and easy does it. Way! Congratulations, 100 points. So this is very much the game that Toby has fallen in love with. So we're going to try and recreate this with a bit of an updated sort of look and feel to it, but we're also going to add maths into the mix. So to vibe code this, I'm using Replit. They have this awesome AI coding agent, and you just describe in plain language what you want it to do, and it will create it for you. There's a link in the description where you can sign up. All I have to do is describe what I'm trying to make. But what I want to do is really focus on what the MVP is. MVP stands for minimum viable product. What are we creating? We're creating a Lander game. Now, we're going to need lots of things in this, including the maths, including the ability to log in, including the ability to sort of track how Toby's answering the questions over time, as well as tracking his score that he'll be more interested in, and all the other player stats that we want. But those are kind of secondary to what our primary purpose is here, which is creating the arcade Lander game itself. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm just going to go straight for the core functionality and get that working first, and then we can add other stuff on as we move along. So this is the prompt I'm going to use. Recreate the Lander arcade game so that my son can play it on his tablet. Make sure there are buttons on screen to allow control of the space Lander. And I'm just going to click on start chat here, and it's going to go away and it's going to start creating it. There is a lot of waiting, but it is worth it and it will do a great job. So it's come back to me. It says, I understand you want to recreate the classic Lander game for your son to play on his tablet with on-screen touch controls for the space Lander. This is a great project that will provide an engaging gaming experience and optimize for tablet play. So it's showing me these features that it's going to build in. All of those look pretty good. Review the plan and approve it. There's quite a bit that it's adding in here. I think what I'm actually going to do is get rid of some of these things just to make it focus on the stuff that I really want. So I'm going to say get rid of fuel management. I'm going to say get rid of score tracking. I definitely want the touch-friendly on-screen controls. We will have a game over restart for functionality, and we will have tablet optimized responsive design. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. I've just removed a couple of the other redundant things. Could have left them in. It might have done a pretty good job of it, but I think I'm going to carry on with that. See what it comes back with. So it's come up with a new plan. Looks good to me. Yeah, so that's the list without the things that we deleted from the previous one. So I'm going to say approve and start. So Replit's come back with this first version. You can see that we've got our ship up here. We've got some landing pads, which look good. We've got some approximation of stars, and we've got this button where we can click on to start game. It has told me that we do have touch controls for tablet optimization. We have a lander spacecraft. We do. Terrain generation, yes. Particle effects for thrusts and crashes, and game state management. So let's see how it's done. So my ship is indeed dropping from the sky. However, I'm not actually seeing any controls here. So you can see, okay. So let's give it a shot. Start game. Oh, I see. So that turns one way, that turns the other, but the height keeps on getting reset whenever I click on either one. Oh, there's my thrust. All right. So we've got our touch controls and they fundamentally do what we need them to do. However, there's clearly a bug there of some description. This is fairly common for AI coding agents to get things like this wrong. Okay. It seems obvious. And the obvious question is, well, why did it get it wrong in the first place? But they do get things wrong. This is called hallucination. Shouldn't be discouraged. We simply tell the Replit coding agent of the problem and it will investigate it and fix it. So I'm going to say whenever I click on thrust or pitch, the height of the lander resets to the start position. You should not do this. And I just leave it go away and think about that for a while, and eventually it will come back. Obviously, the sequences that I'm doing here is slightly shortened, but I should point out it generally doesn't take much longer than a minute for it to come back from any given prompt. So don't be discouraged. If you stick with it, you keep on prompting it, eventually you will get the thing that you want. So reading the output, it looks like it's figured out what the problem is and it's just creating a fix as we speak. Okay, so that actually took a little while longer than I thought, but it has actually had a go at fixing it. So let's now test it. So I'm going to click on start game here. Yeah, okay, so I can click on thrust and you can see that that is now giving me thrust, but it's not resetting the position of the ship like it was before. Presumably I can, whoa, oh no, I died. So it looks like the pitch controls are working. Thrust is definitely working. So there's a few issues that I can see here, but I think the next thing we'll tackle is that the physics are a bit unforgiving. So let's try and make that a little bit easier. So this is what I've created so far. You can see we've got the little ship at the top there rotating around and I'm sort of giving it thrust. I've got a fuel gauge in the top left. And as you can see, I've tried to sort of recreate the graphics of the previous version, although I do have parallax scrolling on the stars. Oh, I'm starting to run out of fuel. I'd better land. Before I do that, I've got to answer a maths question. Here we go. I should get that right, though. That's ideal. And then rather than just sort of launching me back into the action, it does actually count me back in. So then I get a grade for the mission, which I do here. I've got an A star, of course, and the mission was a success. Unfortunately, there are a few minor issues. I can click on continue and I can have another go if I want to. These terrains are randomly generated and it decides whether or not it wants to put sort of easy or medium. And I can even land on spots which don't have landing pads on them and I get a 10x bonus for that. There we go. So the idea is as your ship descends, as you hit certain altitudes, you get asked maths questions. And if you answer them correctly, in this case, you get a fuel bonus, but I may change that. I'm not sure. But I've tried to recreate the zoom in feature, as you can see. So if I go higher, you see it zooms out. I'm about to run out of fuel. As I get closer to the landing pad, I zoom in. And I may not have enough thrust now left to actually overcome the inertia. Let's see. Oh, yeah, just about. And there we go. So now that I've vibe coded the lander game for my son, which will also ask him maths questions, what are my key takeaways and what have I learned from this experience? Number one, first off, focus on exactly what the MVP of your goal is. In my case, it was creating a lander clone. So that's what I asked it to do. I didn't ask it to do any of the other things like support for multiple users, score tracking, or even asking maths questions as the spaceship descends through the atmosphere. And that helped me keep things laser focused on what I was finally trying to achieve. Once I had that, then I could start adding in the additional features. That leads me to number two. When you're asking for additional features on your vibe coded app or game, make sure that you only ask for one at a time. You ask for 1, 2, 3, you can ask for 5, you can ask for as many as you want, but you will find that it will either not implement any of them well enough, or maybe only do 1 or 2 of them and forget others. It's best to keep it laser focused on one specific task. If you ask it for more, it's more likely to break things. Speaking of breaking things, that leads me to tip number 3. I broke a lot of things very, very frequently, but Replit has this rollback feature feature, which is really useful. So you can roll it back to a last known good state. What I tend to do is to actually tell Replit that I am happy with the vibe coded project in its current state, and that seems to encourage it to create a save point. And that gives you this little rollback here sort of button, which you can click on should things start to go wrong. It's a bit tricky to know when to use that because you can very often code your way through Replit getting something wrong, but it's better for the back-end code and better for the AI that has to maintain the code if you use that rollback feature. So have a go at it, say to it, I want to implement this feature of it asking questions when we get to a certain altitude. If it got it wrong after the first try, then I would roll back and I would refine my prompt and try again. And that seemed to get me better results than trying to prompt my way out of the hole. Another trick, screenshots. You can upload screenshots to Replit and you can say, look, this doesn't look right. This isn't in the right color, that sort of thing. It really seems to help it understand what you're trying to change. I had a bit of a struggle with the star field in the background. It kept coming up with a uniform pattern and I wanted it to look like real space. In other words, stars randomly distributed. Eventually I was able to do this by giving it a screenshot and saying, look, there are patterns in these stars. I don't want there to be patterns. Randomly generate them every single time. And it seemed to get the idea. Now, you're going to hit a point when Replit's AI agent does consistently get things wrong. Especially with that star field example, I kept on telling it how I wanted it to be, and it kept on telling me that it had fixed it, but it hadn't. In the end, I used a combination of the screenshots and also phrases in my prompt like, take it slow, think step by step, think logically, and that seemed to do the trick. Final tip, and just to set expectations, whether you're on the free tier or the base tier, you are probably going to blow through your allocation of prompts in order to get this working. So obviously free tier, they only give you so many prompts that you can do, and it's a lot less than if you pay them money. Okay, I'm on the basic tier, so I can do X number of prompts, but what I found was that I blew through that quite quickly. I wanted to get this done, so I continued to pay, and I've paid overages, but you don't have to. You can wait until your allowance resets and then continue from there. But overall, I am super impressed with Replit and what it can do. It's taken about 3 days of me prompting it and refining it, and now what I have is something that my son will play, and I know that when he's playing, he's also practicing his maths, which is absolutely fantastic. I really encourage anybody to have a go at this. I'm super happy with what I've created here, and my son loves it, which is great because he gets to play games, and I know that he's also practicing his maths over summer. If I can do it, you can do it too. This is such an easy process to do. There is a link in the description if you want to sign up for Replit. I highly recommend it. It's my go-to platform for vibe coding. Remember to focus on the MVP and remember to just incrementally improve things with those features. You too can have your own variation of a classic arcade game and you can throw in some educational features. If you like this content, you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Pop something in the comments. I always read comments and I'll always get back to you. I love reading them. Have a great day, guys. Keep on vibe coding.